everyone, and welcome back to Humble Heart Horsemanship. My name is Sabryna, and in today's video, you guys are going to meet our brand new baby goats. Let's get into it. Let me give you guys a little bit of some context into this whole baby goat situation. So basically, ever since I was a little girl, goats have been one of my favorite animals. They are incredibly special to me. I think that they are so intelligent, brave, kind, and just very entertaining animals. And I just love being around them. I love everything about them. So when I was a little girl growing up, I would always get super duper excited to go to like a local fairground or a 4-H show, and I would get so excited to see the goats. And we also had a family friend that had a senior goat who, as a little girl, I loved going over to this family friend's house because she had this goat, and I would spend a lot of time with the goat. His name was Goaty, very original name, and I just loved Goaty so much. I would take Goaty on walks, I would brush him, I would give him treats, and he was so special to me. He ended up sadly passing away because he ate some type of toxic food that he really couldn't handle, and he ended up passing away. But like jumping into the future, when I was a freshman in college, I actually rescued 2 goats, and their names were George and Tiny. George was an Oberhasli, which is a large dairy breed, and Tiny was a boar goat. I actually rescued Tiny first. I was boarding my very first horse, a Mustang mare, at this barn, and at this barn they also bred boar goats for meat. So one day I was outside talking to the guy that owned the property about the goats, and he was just briefly telling me that they had this little small goat that was the little runt of the entire group, I guess, or herd. I don't know what the term is, but he was the little runt of all the little babies that were born, and that he was just kind of sickly and small and not doing well. And this guy said that he's going to likely end up shooting him to kill the goat just because he didn't think he would survive long, and that he was kind of a nuisance. I remember the guy talking about how much work it was to take care of this little goat, and he had so many health problems, and he was just very sickly and sad. So of course, me being the animal lover and the goat lover that I am, hearing that this guy is going to shoot and kill this precious little baby goat, I said, I'll buy him from you, like having no place technically to keep a goat, and not really thinking it all the way through, but just knowing that, oh my gosh, this guy is going to kill this baby goat just because he's sick and needs medical attention. And I said, I'm not gonna let that happen. So I ended up offering this guy $20 for Tiny, is what they called him, and then I was a goat owner. Long story short, I actually got Tiny, and I ended up rehabbing him, and I kept him at the barn where I boarded my horse. Tiny was taken to the vet. He had lice, he had bloat, he was just malnourished, and we got him all fixed up, and he was healthy and happy. It was so rewarding to get this very sickly, very sad baby goat and to rehab him and to get him so healthy and happy that he would actually run to me when I called him, and I would snuggle with him. I'd bring a chair into the stall where he'd be at, and he would come up into my lap and cuddle, and I'd sit there for hours just petting him and cuddling him, and he was and is such a special goat to me. Of course, for those of you who know goats, you would know that goats always need a buddy. They always need a friend, they always need a herd mate. If not, they can get severely depressed because they are herd animals and they need to be around other goats. So that's where I ended up getting George, and basically I think I either went on a Craigslist ad or a Facebook forum just asking if anyone had a goat for sale, and I ended up getting George. His name was not George at the time. I do not recall what his name was because it was years ago. I changed it to George because at the time I was a freshman in college and I was obsessed with the band, the 1975. I still love the band to this day. But my favorite band member was George, the drummer. I thought he was really hot. I loved George, and I'd seen them in concert, and I was obsessed with them. So naturally, I named the goat George after George from the 1975. So this goat was named after a drummer, and George had quite the personality. He too was going to be slaughtered for meat if he hadn't been rehomed. So that's when I jumped in, and I think I spent $50 on him. I picked him up at a local Home Depot is where I met the lady to buy him, and I put him in the back of my Honda Element, and it was hilarious because there's this large goat. Another thing that's funny is that I did not expect him to be as big as he was when I saw him because the pictures that she had sent me made him look like he was a lot smaller. So George had a very outgoing, very confident personality. He was fairly pushy, he would love to escape, and I just had so much fun having these two goats. And I ended up having to rehome them to a family that I had known for years. They have a beautiful farm, and they have numerous amounts of other animals too. They still live there. I've actually been able to go out and visit them I think about like 3 times since I rehomed them when I was in college, and they're so happy and healthy, and they still remember me, which is so special. Years later, we've moved out here to Wyoming, and when we closed on our house, we of course did a walking tour all around the house and the outside of the land, you know, like the land. There was not a weed problem. And then like 2.5, 3 weeks later when we came back to move here, there was a weed problem. We're talking about tumbleweeds, about, I don't know, maybe half the size of like a sedan everywhere over the gravel walkways, over the roads. So many tumbleweeds are so hard to get out of the ground. So my sister, Tabitha, she's kind of like the person that gets you wrangled into getting animals, and most of the time it works out great, and I'm grateful for it. But when Tabitha's around, there always seems to be an animal that comes into your life, and I'm not complaining. So we're like, okay, you know, what can we do about all these weeds? And I'm like, well, I kind of wanted to wait until like next year to get goats, just because I wanted to kind of feel out how this first winter would go with the horses and the chickens and the dogs. Can you see his nose? Can you see him, you guys? Look at him. He's hilarious. Oh my God, this dog. Anyways, Ramo's nose will forever be in this video, apparently. He's like a statue. So, okay, goats. They're really good weed eaters, right? So we're thinking like, okay, we can get some goats. So I looked online, didn't find any that were close to us. All of them were up in like Billings, Montana, or down in Casper. My sister ended up finding this local breeder on a Facebook forum. We messaged her, and then about a week later, I went out to go pick 2 goats from her herd. I got to hold a bunch of the baby goats, and I got to pick out 2 boys. The way that I kind of picked them out was based on when I was holding them, whether they felt like they were cuddly and relaxed when I was holding them, and if they seemed like they enjoyed affection, and if I felt a little spark too, you know, because a little spark never hurt anyone. So I picked these 2 boys, and they were super duper sweet. The second one that I held, when I was holding him like this with his little head, he nuzzled his little head right into like the corner of my armpit right here, and he just like nuzzled into me to be cuddled, and I was in love. I was like, I want to take him home right now. I of course had to wait until they got weaned from their mother. She ended up taking them to the vet, and they got castrated or weathered, so now they're weathered. It took, honestly, a long time. Look at his paws. What are you doing, Ramo? What are you doing, Goober? 3 months later, it was a little bit longer of a wait than what I thought it would be for various reasons that ended up happening with the breeder that prevented me from getting them. I thought I would, but now that they have been weathered, I was able to pick them up day before yesterday, and Mom and I drove out there in her truck to pick them up. They were in a crate waiting. When they went to take the goats out of their crate to put the goats in our crate, in our truck, One of them got out.
Happening, Ma? They took the goat out of the crate and it got loose. So they're trying to catch it.
The other one, we got one in here. We got this sweetie. And the one that got out is a little one that I like to call Shy Guy. So I call, right now, since I don't have names for them, I call one Confident Little Guy and Shy Little Guy. Ran back kind of towards their little like goat setup, I don't know what you want to call it, like where they keep their goats. And he was really hard to catch, and she had explained that he is a little bit shyer than the other one. Little Confident Guy comes right up to you for scratches and gets warmed up to you a lot quicker. And he seems like he's more used to being socialized. And the other one seems a lot shyer. She said that what had happened when they were both out with all of her other goats is that little Shy Guy got pushed to the back when it came to feeding time and kind of got pushed around by some of the bigger goats. So he's kind of learned to just like be in the background and kind of be away. So he's gonna get warmed up over time. So we put them inside of the crate in the car and we drove them all the way back home, and we made one stop along the way back home, and I got out of the truck, went to the back, looked inside the crate, and they were literally like nestled together like little sweet lovey-dovey brothers, and they were just like cuddling each other. It was the cutest thing ever. So it makes me happy that they're brothers and that they love each other and are close to each other. And then once we got here to our house, we brought them into the barn inside their pen that Mom and I actually made for them.
Ready?
All right, I am going to open up the crate and let the two baby goats out into their new pen that we got ready for them. And this is the very first time that they're at a ranch in here. And I'm so excited. Let's see how they do. It might take them a while before they want to come out because they're more nervous.
They're so cute. Come here. We should get some food for them. Get some treats. Hello. Come on, sweetie. I don't know your name yet because we haven't figured it
They
out.
don't have names yet, but they will. Come here.
Excited. We're so excited.
If you guys want to check out how to build a super easy goat pen out of pallets, check out the video that will be linked below in the description box. We put the goats in there. Little Confident Guy was kind of like coming up to us a little bit. Yesterday he came up to me a lot, and he actually came up to me for scratches, and now I can like totally pet him. Little Shy Guy is just kind of hiding in the background.
They like to
Oh,
climb.
they're both.
What
is that?
And then we can slide the panel.
Oh, we're so cute. Looking for ways to escape. Little brown and black one. Yeah. Oh, that was so cute. Oh my goodness. I'm not rushing when it comes to getting these goats used to being around me and around people in general and getting used to being handled. So what my approach is right now is I take a chair in their pen, and while they're eating like their breakfast and I'm enjoying my morning coffee, I'll sit in there and just talk to them, and that way, you know, they're getting used to me, hearing my voice, becoming comfortable with me, knowing that I'm not going to go in there and always expect something of them, and just having them just get used to their new home. So. Good job. What did you put? Oh, you want more pets? Oh, we wanted more pets. Wow. Already warming up so fast, huh, cutie? Yeah, you're so sweet. You're a sweet boy. So that's what I have been doing for the past 2 days or so. Little Confident Guy comes up to me now for little scratches, and he just loves being pet. He almost falls asleep. I am still trying to figure out what I'm going to name them though. Just because like I have a list of like maybe 8 names that I like, but none of them like really like, you know, stick out to me like, oh yeah, this is the name for him, or this is the name for the other little guy. Like 2 names that I'm kind of thinking about for Little Confident Guy is Theo. He just looks like a Theo. Do you want to be called Theo? Do you like Theo? Do we like the name Theo? Is that our new name? They are the cutest goats I have ever seen, with beautiful, colorful markings and just beautiful coats in general. So I really like Theo for him. And then for the little shy guy, I really like the name Clover, just because it seems very fitting. And the family was kind of like, you know, you should name them like a duo pair name or something, like Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. But I kind of want like individual names for them just because their personalities seem so different from each other. Ramo really wanted to come down and say hi. As you can tell, I just wanted to be in this video, clearly. Anyways, you guys, if you have any name suggestions for these little baby goats, make sure that you leave me a comment in the comment box below, giving me some name suggestions. And if you guys want to see more updates on these little baby goats, make sure, can you just stop for a minute, sir? You want to see updates on these baby goats and see them grow up here at our ranch, make sure that you scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and also give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Thank you guys for watching this video, and Ramo, who's now very content to be in the video, and I will see you. Really? Am I really that boring? Ramo and I will see you in the next video. Bye!